So as I stand here at the southwestern tip of the continental United States, looking out toward the Pacific Ocean on the south end of Ocean Beach, San Diego, I do what I often do, and that is I think about things astrological. And I'm thinking of a planet that is heating up with calls for aggression and war, and and I'm reminded of the fact that we have a Venus-Mars conjunction that is lingering in the sky, as it will for the days ahead, and in fact all the way through the new moon on March 2nd, that this Venus-Mars conjunction will be approaching Pluto. And I'm reminded of the fact that there are people who are saying that Venus will do her thing and soothe things over, and perhaps she will. However, I'm also cognizant of the fact that Mars in Capricorn is in its exaltation. This means that when Mars is not at home in Aries, its favorite place to be is in Capricorn, because it finishes what it starts there. Now, of course, the question is, who's going to finish and who started? And we shall see some of this playing. I'm looking down here as the tide is coming in, and I'm wanting to make sure that I'm not going to get my feet wet on the way back to shore. I'm standing out on some rocks. But I'm thinking about Mars in its exaltation being strengthened and finishing what it starts. And I'm also thinking of the fact that perhaps the most changeful moment in modern history and recent modern history, was the Saturn as it conjoined Pluto in January of 2020. And of course, this set up a cycle that activated all the planets inside of Pluto, one by one, not Uranus and not Neptune, but coming around one by one, and either paying homage to Pluto or being sucked into the netherlands, the netherworlds, the underworlds of Pluto. First, Saturn on that day was the first announced mortality of COVID, and the announcement by the Wuhan lab on January 12th, 2020, of the actual genome of the virus. And then we had Jupiter sweeping across Pluto, deepening and expanding that energy, actually corresponding to the first three major waves of the pandemic. And then over the last couple of years, we've had the sun, of course, sweep across Pluto a couple of times, but most recently, and of course the moon going there once a month, but most recently we had Venus making contact with Pluto back in December, late December, and then turning retrograde, making a second contact on its retrograde, and now coming toward its third and final contact on March 2nd at the new moon in Pisces. Now, in between that, we've had Mercury also conjoining Pluto, retrograding back over it, and then doing a third time, while the sun made that same pass recently also. And so what I'm suggesting here is that all of these planets culminating in the new moon on March 2nd, the Pisces new moon, is basically the ending and the beginning. And I think that because Mars is there and it's conjuncting Venus, meaning that perhaps there'll be a struggle over values. Venus, we normally just associate Venus with love and forget that there are other aspects to it. I seem to be losing light. There we go. But I think what's significant here is that, Mars and Pluto have something in common, and they are both ready to fight for what they need to. Of course, Mars in war can be very charged with adrenaline and is certainly known as the warrior. But Pluto, I think, has staying power. Not I think. Pluto has staying power that Mars does not. And when Mars and Pluto get together, I think it's a rather dangerous and nasty neighborhood, especially at the end of this 2-year period that began with the Saturn conjunction to Pluto. This is kind of the last dance of this energy, and it will be more than interesting to follow it to see where this goes. But like many things, when Pluto is involved, there's secrets, there's power struggles, there's bigger things going on than we know. I've contended that from the beginning with COVID. There's, of course, this bifurcation of just about every value in the United States, whether it's gender, race, immigration, abortion, Trumpism, vaccinations. It goes on and on and on. And so I'm thinking that we are coming to a turning point. And a turning point doesn't mean a final point. It means a turning point. And it will be interesting to see how this plays out in the days and weeks ahead. And I, as an astrologer and as a participant in the current events of what's going on, I will be speaking my piece, and I will be watching it. And I encourage astrologers to do the same, keeping an open mind, but being aware that when planets go across Pluto, secrets come out, things that were hidden. Things are coming out into the open almost every day now as these planets are coming closer and closer to Pluto. And stay tuned. That's all I got to say. And this is Rick Levine. For now, over and out. Peace be with you. Think cosmically and act locally.